name is Chayma Ben Doudou. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I'm really glad to have this opportunity to interview you about nutrition for athletes and gym goers. It's a topic that a lot of people, including my team and I, are very interested in. Uh, before we get started, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello. I thank you as well for the invitation, and I'm glad to be here and to share a little bit of my knowledge regarding this topic with you. My name is Chayma Ben Doudou. I'm nutritionist dietitian. I'm holder of a bachelor degree and nutrition degree from the Tunis High School in Human Nutrition Science, and currently I'm scholarship holder studying food safety and quality engineering in Budapest, Hungary.
Thank you for sharing that. Now we can start with the interview questions. What are the main nutritional challenges that athletes face, and how can travel, stress, or competition schedules challenge an athlete's nutrition routine?
Well, I think that there are many, but the most important one, I guess, is what athletes facing is maintaining consistent energy balance. Because we know, like, they are burning so much energy more than an average person. So if their nutrition doesn't keep up with the demands, everything will suffer, like performance, recovery, and even their immune system. I guess also that, not guessing, but I believe that timing is another huge piece of the puzzle. Knowing when and what to eat can make or break a training session. For example, if they eat too little before a training, they can feel fatigue or they can feel empty. And if they eat too much, they can feel heavy and discomfort. So it's about all about finding the find and the sweet spot for each individual. Let's talk a little bit about travel since you mentioned it. I think this is where everything gets complicated because different time zones, unfamiliar food, limited access to the adequate or the quality meal that they are used to use all adds up. So I guess with while traveling, athletes can entirely or like stick with fast food or unhealthy options because even they can't find, as I mentioned, the food that they are used to eat, the healthier options, and there is no option, for example, if they are going so far from where they are used to live, from where they are and what they are used to eat. So I think that in these situations, it's always important to emphasize planning ahead and to grab something with them, even packing protein bar, nuts, or fruit that can be a right solution to these kind of problems. You mentioned stress. That's it?
Yes.
Okay. I believe that stress is another factor that people underestimate, especially athletes, because they do not like give huge importance to this topic, but competition pressure, training load, travel fatigue, all of these can trigger stress, and that can increase the secretion of hormone stress. The famous one is cortisol. So when cortisol is the secretion is of cortisol is increased than the normal rate, that can mess with the appetite and with the digestion as well. Some athletes, they can lose their appetite, others they can overeat, and both ways this will disrupt their routine and that will affect directly the nutritional balance. So it's important to pay attention and to know if they are, or as an athlete, to know if he or she is facing a stressful situation, to hold on and to try to figure it out without like messed up with nutrition. Competition schedule too, you mentioned it. It's also important, and that can be one of the pressure situations or be a difficult one, especially like if they are fixing early morning training sessions or late night games. That can be that difficult for them to maintain the timing of meals or the real time of meals. So that's why if they are missing these post training session or this post competition meal, they will affect directly the recovery. That's why they don't have to skip. And it's important to schedule meals and to schedule these post training ones. And that's where personalized planning becomes essential, and that's where the role and the major role of nutritionists and dietitian comes. When they plan their meals and when they made for them the adequate and the personalized and the customized plan, they won't be like facing as much stress and as much pressure as the normal ones. So yeah, this is my answer regarding your first question. I hope that I answered it and I gave enough information.
It was a really great answer. Thank you very much. So the second question is, what are some common myths or misconceptions about nutrition among athletes?
There are so many. Let's start with the protein myth, which is the most common. A lot of athletes and normal people think that as much protein as they eat, they will build automatically more muscle. So the more protein, the more muscle. But that's not how it works. Muscle growth comes from the combination between training, recovery, and adequate calories, not only protein. So your body cannot use that much of protein that you eat, but a fixed amount. So we just need as normal persons and athletes a fixed amount. It's higher than the normal one, yes, than normal person, but it's fixed and they cannot eat a big quantity of protein at once. But because body will just get their need and then the other or the surplus is getting burned or stored, so it won't build automatically protein. What really matters is spreading protein intake throughout the whole day, especially after training. Also, there is the fear of carbs. People think that carbs are enemies, especially athletes. They are trying to avoid carbs and they're thinking this kind of habit will help them stay lean. But carbs is literally your body preferred fuel and your body preferred source for exercising and for maintaining normal function. So without carbs, you're looking for fatigue, poor recovery, and declining performance. The key is just not to avoid carbs, but to choose the quality ones, like the whole grains, fruit, vegetables, and timing around when you can eat these carbs, especially after training or just before, so that you can maintain the energy intake. I guess also there is another one, which is the supplement meat. Athletes believe that supplements can replace real food, but it's not the case. Supplements are just supplements, as the name mentioned. Like, nothing can replace real food. And I'm not against supplements because they can be, and they are useful in many cases, but they are meant to complement and to supplement the solid diet, not to replace it. So whole food can give the all needed nutrient, vitamins, minerals, fibers, etc. that that your body needs. Not only supplement can do this. And I guess the last one is the fat meat too, because people think and athletes particularly think that fat are bad, but not for all fat are bad. We have the natural ones that are good quality, and we have just to avoid the trans fat, the excessive of saturated fat, and that's all. And all these bad fat, which are the trans ones and the saturated that come from ultra processed food and from fried food, that we recommend to all people to avoid or to reduce, not only to athletes. So having good sources of fat is also crucial for hormone secretion, for inflammation, for brain functions, and for reducing uh, fatigue and inflammation too. So yeah, they do need good fat too. Yeah, that's all what I want to share about meats. Protein doesn't always mean more muscle. Carbs are not the enemy. Supplements don't replace food, and quality fat are actually essential.
The third question is, what should they focus on to maintain a balanced and healthy diet?
I think that they have to get a balanced diet. Balance mean that that should be balanced. They should focus on variety, the timing, and the hydration. These are the four keys to get a healthy, balanced diet. I mean by balance that getting all type of food that contain all needed nutrients, the macro and the micro ones. When it comes to fat, carbs, protein, and this is for energy intake, for healthy body, for normal functions, for maintaining the normal body function, and for performance, and also the micronutrient they needed, vitamins, minerals, etc., for the immune function. So this is when it comes to balance, to get all types of a lot food, and this is leads us to variety, like not only balance, because we can face, or nowadays there are a lot of athletes that just focus on 2 to 3 types of food and say like, I'm getting all my nutrients from this, especially the macro one, but they are not focusing more on the micronutrients. That's why variety is important, to get different foods that provide different nutrients, when you can get different vitamins, different minerals, antioxidants, and like the whole food is, we have a whole list of whole food, and that they can eat and there is no problem with. And not only no problem, but it's important to have this diversity so that they can take as much good nutrient as they can. Also, timing is a key factor here, because we are not talking about normal person, but timing is also important for a normal person, but timing is more important in case of athlete, because this is where the strategy comes in. When eating carbs, for example, and protein before training, that will fuel your workouts and that can prevent fatigues. And when they eat, for example, after training, protein and carbs too, that can replenish glycogen and that repair the muscle. So it's about timing, to know what and where to eat, as I mentioned it earlier. Also, skipping meals can, or skipping or eating a wrong thing can also seriously lead to decrease in performance and decrease in recovery too. So it's crucial to focus on not only what to eat, but where to eat it. Also, hydration is important, and it's honestly one of the things that is gets overlooked, because athletes thinks that nutrition and to select what to eat is important, but they do not pay as much attention as to hydration. So if an athlete is dehydrated, that will reduce the performance, that will impair function, focus, and also can increase the injury risk. So it's important to be hydrated. It's important to, if they are facing a long training session, they may also need electrolytes, not only water. So they have to keep balanced. So to sum up, I think that the 4 pillars are balance, variety, timing, and hydration. These are the foundation for any athletes who want to perform at their best, and they can stay healthy as long as they can.
Thank you. So next question is, which foods should athletes prioritize for energy, muscle building, and recovery, and which foods are to avoid?
Okay, let me break this down to like parts. Let's start with the energy. They definitely need to get quality carbohydrates, because what I said previously, carbs are not the enemy, and we just have to focus on good ones, because if we select good ones, that can fuel the energy. Let's start with the wheat, which is the most common cereal in Tunisia. There is also oat, brown rice, barley, and I can give an example of a food that is underrated in Tunisia, but it's important for athletes, which is psisa. It's powder, yes, and it's made of mix of cereals, whole ones, and athletes can use it. It's not about it's to use it the traditional manner, but you can just take profit from the only powder, take it and use it the one that fits with your needs. For example, they can take it, mix it with milk, add some protein powder, and then they can have kind of snack or pre-training meal that is healthy and it's enriched in good carbs, whole ones, and also there is protein there. So good carbs like those that I mentioned, they can help us to be on the top of the energies. They sustain the energy and also the fuel the training and competition. For muscle building and recovery, protein is key, and I always recommend lean meat, fish, seafood, turkey, eggs, dairy products, plant-based protein too are important, like beans, chickpeas, lentils. Yeah, these are all important to distribute. But it's also important to distribute the protein, as I mentioned earlier, throughout the whole day, so we can maximize the recovery. And for recovery itself, athletes need to mix and make combination between both carbs and protein. For example, they can take yogurt with fruit, tuna sandwich, chicken with rice, or smoothie with milk and banana. This combination can help replenish glycogen and that also help muscle tissue efficiently to be recovered after training. So it's about make this combination for recovery optimization. You asked me about what type of food they should avoid, and as I mentioned earlier, it's like normal person. We should always avoid ultra-processed food, fried ones, pre-packed food as much as they can, and also opting for snacks or drinks to natural options. Do not use excessively caffeine or alcohol because this is damaging your body too, and they can affect negatively the performance, and that can also affect negatively the other body functions. So they should prioritize whole and nutrient dense food.
Thank you very much. This answer, it will be very helpful in writing the new plans and tips and tricks for the athletes and the able. So thank you very much. So last question will be, what do you think of athletes who use energy drinks, and what are the possible effects of consuming such products?
That's a good question, actually. Like energy drinks have been always been kind of discussed topic regarding athletes and even normal persons. I can understand why athletes try to consume, or they actually consume energy drinks because they want to get this quick boost before training or before competition. And yes, it does like give them this boost, but it's only in short term and it's temporary because it's obvious that contain caffeine and sugar, which can increase momentarily the alertness and focus. And if an athlete, for example, is tired or didn't sleep well, so it can work. But this is not the problem itself. The problem is that it's not nutritious because, as you mentioned, that contain a lot of caffeine, a lot of sugar, which is not good for health first, and that also can has negative effect. For example, the high caffeine intake, it has a diuretic effect, so that can lead to dehydration. Also, these kind of drinks increased heart rate and blood pressure, and that lead also to anxiety, stomach discomfort, and so on. There are a lot of problems that can be just caused from these energy drinks if they are consumed excessively and if this kind of repetitive use. That also affect the sleep routine if they take ones or late in the day or just at night. So that will, if the sleep is disrupted, that will have also another type of problem because when the body of athletes is not it's not getting the sleeping quality, that will affect the recovery, that will affect the performance after all. And like that will be kind of a reverse effect. Instead of just looking for this boost, they will get a reverse effect. So I do not really recommend athletes or any type or no one to use these energy drinks because there is no need. And the most important thing for others, if they are following a healthy and balanced nutrition plan, if they are sleeping well, if they are hydrated, if they are prioritizing and making sure to take their pre and post workout or training or competition snacks and food, there is no need to consume these energy drinks because they should be on the top of their energy and on the top of focusing on all this stuff. So if an athlete feel that he or she needs the energy drink, they have just to think about their nutritional habits and about the plan because maybe there is something going wrong there because that shouldn't be needed. So yeah, that's my point of view about energy drinks, and I guess that no need to use them, and we have just to prioritize alternative natural choices because for hydration they have water and electrolytes. For energy they have carbs, protein, fats, all the micronutrients that they can use, and they don't need it.
Thank you so much for your time and insights. Your answers were very clear, precise, and will be extremely helpful. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you very much, and I'm thanking again for this invitation. I just want to say one last thing is that no matter how talented and dedicated athlete is, without proper fueling, without hydration, without recovery and sleeping quality, they cannot like be on the top of the performances, and that it will be very difficult to reach their full potential. So they should really make sure about and attention to what they eat and to all the routine. That's it. So I'd really recommend them any athletes to just not only focus on the training, but also focus on the other factors that can really help them, which are food, good food, balanced diets, quality sleeping, proper hydration, following a professional recommendations, and that will be great.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.